Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon, and thanks so much for joining us this Monday. I'm Aja Goare. Our top story today, President Trump is at the United Nations, making his first appearance as president before the organization that he has sharply criticized in the past. Today, the president holds an event on reforming the institution before addressing the General Assembly tomorrow. CBS's Meg Oliver reports.
President Trump told world leaders at the United Nations Monday morning that he wants the UN to cut spending and make other changes.
If we work together and champion truly bold reforms, the United Nations will emerge as a stronger, more effective, more just, and greater force for peace and harmony in the world.
This is the first time President Trump has addressed the United Nations, an organization he has sharply criticized in the past.
The United Nations is not a friend of democracy.
But this morning, the president praised the Secretary General's efforts to curb the UN's growing bureaucracy.
Its staff has more than doubled since 2000. We are not seeing the results in line with this investment.
President Trump will address the entire General Assembly tomorrow, where he will likely focus a large part of his speech on North Korea. Video released overnight shows United States and South Korea warplanes dropping live bombs during drills over the Korean peninsula. This latest show of force followed Friday's missile test by North Korea.
Be clear, we seek a peaceful solution to this.
President Trump also holds separate meetings with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and French President Emmanuel Macron Monday to discuss the Iran nuclear deal. Meg Oliver, CBS News, the United Nations.
Neither presidents from China nor Russia will be at the UN this week. We go to some breaking news now. A murder investigation is underway in Pablo after a man was shot and killed over the weekend. The victim has been identified as 34-year-old Johnny McKeever. A suspect is in jail right now. His name is 28-year-old Ryan Black. The shooting happened outside of Black's residence in Pablo. Murder charges are expected to be filed this week. Well, class is canceled yet again today in the Flathead Valley as investigators continue to probe a cyber threat that forced the closure of 31 schools. This marks the third day of school closures due to that threat. Law enforcement will help affected schools with security assessments today and maintain a presence in those schools until the suspect is either apprehended or the threat further discredited. Investigators determined the suspect hacked the Columbia Falls School District network, gaining access to the phone numbers of students and parents. The Flathead County Sheriff says the suspect electronically contacted a random small group of parents with disturbing, graphic, personalized threats on Saturday. So far, there's no evidence that the suspect is from the Flathead area. Authorities say the suspect could be behind a keyboard anywhere in the world. All staff throughout the Flathead Valley will report to their schools today, and students are scheduled to return tomorrow. The Lincoln County Sheriff's Office is asking for the public's help in finding a local man who went missing last week. 35-year-old Robert Dombrowski was last seen in Libby on Thursday night. Dombrowski is described as being 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighing 172 pounds. He has blonde hair and a scorpion tattoo. Anyone with information should contact authorities. Some Montana tribes want to change the names of 2 locations in Yellowstone National Park. Tribal leaders from the Blackfoot Confederacy and Great Sioux Nation rallied in Gardner on Saturday. The tribes want Mount Doane renamed to the First Peoples Mountain, and the tribes want to rename Hayden Valley to the Buffalo Peoples Valley in honor of the animal their ancestors hunted in the lands now called Yellowstone. The tribes argue the current names honor war criminals. Along with the name changes, the tribes want the U.S. Park Service to add an education system so visitors can learn more about the indigenous people from this area. The Park Service has yet to make an official response to the name change request. A local team will assume command today of the Alice Creek fire burning 29,000 acres near Lincoln. Mandatory evacuation orders were lifted on Saturday, but the area is still closed to the public and some road closures do remain in effect. Crews are still monitoring the fire and will address any areas that threaten containment lines. The wet weather is making dirt roads difficult to access, which limits crews' abilities to fight that fire. Meanwhile, an evacuation order remains in place for glacier area residents. The south end of Lake McDonald north to Logan Pass remains closed. The fire is burning close to 17,000 acres, about a quarter-mile away from the Going to the Sun Road. The blaze is burning about 3 miles away from Apgar and around 2 miles from Avalanche Campground. Crews will resume structure protection work at Lake McDonald Lodge in the North Lake McDonald area, along with Apgar Village. The blaze is 60% contained. And on that note, we turn now to the weather scene with Rob Griggs to check in. We've had air quality issues, but maybe that's helped with the rain. How's it going?
Boy, it sure has, Asia. Yeah, air quality issues definitely have improved, and with this next batch of Pacific weather coming in wave after wave over the next couple of days, I think things will improve even more. Right now, a chilly 51 degrees, a little bit of snow around the Helena area there. Kalispell also finally picking up some showers. Dillon at 52. On the warm side, Worland, Wyoming 67, and our air quality, as we mentioned, pretty good across the state, although there has been some diminishment in air quality in western Montana. Libby and Seeley Lake area still a little murky with snow. With smoke rather. Snow is on my mind because it's in the background there for Helena up on the foothills there. 51 degrees with an east wind 7 miles an hour. Got some nice snow out of that last storm, and of course over in Missoula 57. The complete statewide forecast in just a minute, Asia.
Thanks, Rob. We'll check back in. From Montana to Texas, more help is on the way for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. 30 members of the Montana Conservation Corps met in Bozeman Sunday ahead of their 24-hour drive. The crew will start with initial training in Austin and then head to Corpus Christi, where they will help with debris removal, clearing fallen trees, and tarping damaged roofs. For MCC members, the opportunity to make a difference is what it's all about.
Really, same thing that brought me out here in the first place, just doing something new. I would really love to be able to shake the hand of the person that I'm working for, see where it's ultimately going.
This connects really well with our mission as an organization, and the idea that young people can actually make a difference and really have an impact in people's lives. So the opportunity to see how much of a difference you can make by stepping up and serving is a really great experience for them.
Montana Conservation Corps members plan to be in Texas for about a month. After Hurricane Irma, the Caribbean is now bracing for yet another major storm. Hurricane Maria is already a Category 3 and is expected to grow significantly stronger over the next 24 hours. CBS's David Begnaud reports from Puerto Rico, which is directly in Maria's projected path.
The U.S. territory of Puerto Rico escaped a direct hit from Hurricane Irma, but the storm still knocked out power to about 70% of the island. Nearly 2,000 U.S. citizens who live or were vacationing in the U.S. Virgin Islands were evacuated to Puerto Rico following Irma, including more than 500 people who arrived by cruise ship on Thursday. Across the Caribbean, many of the islands in the path of Hurricane Maria look like this. Tortola in the British Virgin Islands is still covered in debris.
When you get to the bottom, you have nowhere to go but up, but it's one board, one stick, one log, one brick at a time.
We have yet another hurricane forecast to hit the British Virgin Islands.
Sir Richard Branson, whose island home was badly damaged by Irma, has been raising money and awareness for the battered British territory. He says rebuilding is going to be a massive task, but right now the focus is on the immediate threat of Maria.
Everyone's been rallying around trying to create some kind of shelter if and when the next hurricane comes. They are protected.
Here on the beach in San Juan, Puerto Rico, consider this. 70% of the island lost power during Hurricane Irma, and Irma went nearly 100 miles north of the island. So consider what a direct hit from Maria could do. David Begnaud, CBS News, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico's governor has declared a state of emergency ahead of that landfall, which is likely to happen on Wednesday. This is the first time in 85 years Puerto Rico is expected to suffer a direct landfall from a Category 4 hurricane. Still ahead on the noon news, the acquittal of a white officer who killed a black man leads to protests in St. Louis. Details from the scene when we come back. But first, Rob has our weather forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching